This meeting should have been an email. 75,000 years ago, we left the planet Earth to conquer the galaxy.
When people think of Corvus Belli, a lot of people will understandably imagine, Bostria, who has been doing tons of awesome interviews and battle reports for Infinity over the years, or they'll immediately think of Hoopoe, who has done incredible videos for Warcrow. But a lot of people don't realize that there is an incredibly talented team of individuals that are helping the forward-facing members of the company create such awesome products that we all enjoy for the Infinity and Warcrow universes. Today's interview is with Gabriel Miller, who is one of those incredible humans. He is the author of Death Song, which is an amazing book. We're going to get into this in the interview. And just all around, just an amazing human. I had the chance to meet him personally at Adepticon just a few weeks ago, and we wanted to record this interview at the convention, but both of our schedules were just absolutely insane, so we weren't able to catch up until a couple weeks later. And just so everybody knows, it is a little bit longer than my usual content. The interview edited down is just under an hour. So there are going to be chapters that you can click down below in case you needed to come back later. It'll be a little bit easier for you to find your place again. But without further ado, here's the interview, and I hope you enjoy. Alrighty, so today we are here with Gabriel Miller,
Hey.
Corvus Belli fame.
Fame. You are generous, my friend.
So for the people who don't know who you are, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh, but that was such a good introduction, man. Apparently I'm famous now. I'm just waiting for my star on the Hollywood Walk now. Hi, my name is Gabriel. I work on the Corvus Belli team for our content creator network, and I wear a couple of different hats, and I think we're going to get into that a little bit later. I'm also a fan of the game Infinity and a player, and absolutely love it. I'm getting my feet wet with Warcrow. Only have so much time in the day to play games right now. I'm also an author. The novel Death Song, which you have a copy of, my friend.
I do.
Is my first full-length published novel, and that was published by Winged Hussar for Infinity the Universe. Follows Neko Oyama on an adventure that he and several other reluctant heroes go upon.
Reluctant is a good word. We'll get into the novel a little bit later. However, if you've not read it, you definitely should read it. Go pick up a copy. It's really good. So a couple of icebreakers. Let's kind of get to the nitty gritty. Favorite Infinity faction?
Favorite Infinity faction currently, because this waffles back and forth. I started with Ariadna, and then I moved my way into Aleph, and then JSA for a little while, and then I've been playing Next Wave for a while since they came out. Right now, I'm feeling the draw back to the AI. I'm feeling the draw back to Aleph. I tend to pick a faction and play it for about a year or so straight. I don't bounce around a ton. I might totally break that rule here in about a month to an event I'm going to, but I'm feeling the call back to under the comforting wing of our AI overlord.
Okay.
For Warcrow, on the flip side, I have been just absolutely enamored with the Scions since Warcrow came out.
Interesting.
It is weird mechanics. They are antithesis of everything else in the world. I have fallen in love with them from jump. They have been my safe place, my happy space, my slightly icky, dirty with tinge space.
So it's really interesting hearing Hoopoe describe the Scions, because when you look at the miniatures, you're like, they're clearly evil. They're clearly out doing bad things. And she's just like, Nope, they really care about family and community.
Uruk is a girl dad. Uruk is a girl dad. Hoopoe will defend me on this one. Uruk is a girl dad. He loves his kids.
Oh man! For me, quickly, I haven't actually talked a lot about my personal experience with Infinity on the channel, but way back in the day, second edition, I hopped in on Yujing, but specifically because of JSA. Absolutely loved all of the JSA miniatures. At some point, once Onyx Contact Force came out, I felt the call of the EI. Kind of hop sides. Plasma is amazing. It's really great when you're not a great tactical player. You're just like, okay, you know what? I don't have the tactics down, but now you have to make 2 save rolls.
Plasma is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, so I'm either laying down plasma or I'm trying to whack people with swords in the middle of a gunfight. So
that sounds like a great time. There's a happy medium there if you want to find it with Shiden Butai.
Okay.
Because there's some plasma carbines and martial arts with EM close combat weapons. So you got options.
Yeah. I have to get those painted. So my Oban is mostly painted because I've been running that for years. And I have the Shinin Butai miniatures. I just have to actually get them done. But on the Warcrow front, it's kind of hard to actually pick a favorite. Like, everything has things that I like. I can say it's not the Scions. They're just like too creepy for me. But even with them, like, the red caps are adorable. Yeah. Absolutely adorable.
Just adorable little chaos gremlins.
Yeah. So if I had to pick something, it would be a tie between Mount Haven and Feudum. It's weird with the Feudum. You would think they're just boring old knights, but they're executed like really, really well. Mm-hmm. And then some of their heavy infantry kind of have like a touch of like weirdness to them with the mask with the eyes covered and everything.
Goose on the helmet.
Yeah.
It works out great.
Goose Knight.
Here's a fun little detail. I have some dear friends that are very, very into history and historical reenactment. And the amount of praise that they heap upon the design team for the accuracy of Feudum armor is incredible. The detail and research that went into that was just absolutely phenomenal. Yeah,
no, you can definitely see it in the miniatures. And honestly, across the whole range, everything is sculpted beautifully. CNN elves are hands down, I will die on this hill, the best wood elves I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
Oh God, and the tree creature with the crows.
The Moss Hermit?
Maybe. It's like the tree with the elf like in its chest. Yeah. The crows on there are such an awesome little detail.
And then it's got the Feudum wrapped up in some vines. Yeah. Yeah. The amount of detail that the artists have put into all of those miniatures is humbling.
Yeah.
It is difficult on the marketing and gameplay side of things. It is difficult to feel sometimes like we do justice to these incredible works of art.
I assure you, you guys do a phenomenal job. So being sort of, in the... Are we still calling ourselves the Nest, or are we officially the Tabletop Creator Network? Okay, go ahead.
Officially, this creator program that we created is called the Tabletop Creator Network. And it is a place where creators of all different skill levels and all tracks of life, folks who do it full time and folks who do it very, very part time, can come together, get a little bit of an inside access to the company that they love, and we can provide very direct, real support to them. Bernard, you're a part of the Nest. The Nest is what we colloquially refer to it. These are all my little baby crows here. I really do not remember who coined the Crowfather in conversation, but it has stuck, and now it's literally my handle on Discord in there.
Yeah, it's awesome. But where I was going was, even with us, kind of having, slightly early access to some things to work on content and everything, Like we're like kids in a candy store. Like every time you guys drop something new, you guys are definitely doing it justice. And it honestly, it's incredible being part of the nest. But even as a fan, like if you look at what other companies are doing for, you know, their teasers and release videos and everything, you guys are way ahead of the curve.
Thanks, man.
Including Hoopoe running
Hoopoe
into
brings unmatched energy. You cannot compete.
So, funny story, and we're about to segue into Adepticon, so this is actually kind of relevant. So, my wife actually is the whole reason why I went to Adepticon this year. It was sort of a gift. So, her relationship with wargaming has pretty much just been kind of a lore nerd. So, like, I have all of the novels and everything in the house, and at one point, she ended up picking up some books and was like, wow, this is really cool. But she never really felt like she had the attention span to like sit there through a 2-hour game and, you know, like learn a game. But being in the Corvus Belli seminar and watching Hoopoe's excitement about Warcrow, the very next day when we went to the vendor hall and I stopped by the CB booth to talk to Jay, she has her head buried in the Warcrow rulebook, like just voraciously consuming it. And she's like, you know, there was like nothing here that like I wanted to buy, but I might buy that book. And I'm like, you realize I have it at home. It's literally in the background of all of my videos. And she's like, oh my God. So yeah, Hoopoe is doing God's work out there. She might be the only person on earth that could get my wife to roll some dice.
And she is just your wife too, but Hoopoe is just a kind and joyous human to be around.
Yeah, no, for sure. But on the topic of Adepticon, I believe this was your first Adepticon after making the transition from solely being a fan to now being a team member. So can you tell us a little bit like what that experience was like, you know, being on the vendor side?
This year, the 2020, what year is it? 2026. Yes. Yeah, it's still 2026. Okay, I'm good. It has been an incredibly surreal experience. Last year at Gen Con, I helped in the presentation to present the novel and have been fairly integrated with Max, the director of marketing, for a while now. He's a friend of mine. And over the course of fall into winter, things came up. We were chatting back and forth, and eventually the opportunity came to help behind the scenes. And I keep having to pinch myself moments. Adepticon, you know, wait, why are people coming to see me? Why? What? Someone's waiting at the booth for me? What? Who? Where? Why? It was the strangest experience to be able to represent a property or group of properties that I love. And I've known Jay and Sarah at Warsenal for a while. Hoopoe and I've been chatting for months now. Max I've known for, good Lord, a while now. And Coney is just a gem of a human. Everyone on the team over there, the booth babes, as we lovingly call all the demo kids. I mean, they're all my age, but we've been friends for a while. So it was just this really cool experience to be able to be a part of all of that and to wander the vendor hall as a representative of the company and get to talk to other creators and companies that I've known and loved for years as a peer. I mean, I'm grinning now just thinking about it. It was a wild experience.
Yeah.
And very much a what the hell is my life now kind of vibe, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
No, that's awesome. So for me personally, with it being my first Adepticon, but then also kind of having the added pressure of like going as a content creator, it was very nerve-wracking. I'm way too agreeable as a person to just like cold approach people who have no idea who I am and just be like, hey, can I record all of your stuff? Or do you want to interview?
This is really great. I love what you're doing. You want to talk to me about it on camera in front of, you know, a couple thousand people on the internet? No big deal.
But everybody was actually like super welcoming and super friendly. And it was kind of interesting. So I've been a fan of wargaming since like 2000, and like watching all of these people on the internet and then being able to like actually see them in person and kind of like realize like they're just humans that happen to also be nerds, just like you.
There are very few people at Adepticon that aren't there, and Gen Con for that matter, Gamma, any of these conventions or expos we go to. There are very few people there that are not just like you.
Yeah.
Just like me. We've got some salespeople that they came into the industry because of sales. We've got some people in marketing and administration and all these different places that came from different walks of life, but they're the minority because most of us are artists in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no,
It's
for
an
sure.
industry full of nerds.
Back to serious things.
Serious.
So your seminar, the whole CB team, it was absolutely phenomenal. And it was really cool kind of being able to sit in the crowd for the first time and like see it all happen live. Tons of things got revealed at the seminar. We've got the teaser for Maze Breaker, tons of really cool releases coming out for Mount Haven, sprinkling of things for all the Infinity factions. What was your favorite reveal from the seminar?
Oh, man. So it's a weird kind of relationship being on the other side of the curtain because Coney and I sat in the hotel room the night before and proofed it. And then that day we had to go back and change it. And so there's this level of stress that adds to the process because it is your job. It is part of what you're there for. So we'd been talking about what goes into it for months. We'd been, this seminar is not a, okay, 5 minutes and we're done kind of thing. We put a lot of time and thought into the miniatures, making sure the renders are ready, making sure the art is ready. Are we announcing something too soon, too late? There's so much that goes into it. So when we get there, the whole thing goes by and you go, wait, what? Are we done? Oh, damn, we're out of time. Okay. It is a blur. Now, as a fan of Infinity for a good while now, I am really, really excited about Mazebreaker and the minis that are coming for that and the reintroduction of Alepht's influence into the story. And so that would probably be my personal favorite, though I am a really big fan of the Sartroids.
Yeah.
For Next Wave. I love those koala looking bastards. It's going to be great.
I was hoping for more Dinobot influence, but what we're getting still looks incredible. They're so adorable. Now, for me, and I am completely 1,000% aware that you're not allowed to say anything. So just sit there, stare blankly, stone face, and allow me to wildly speculate about the announcement of a partnership with My Mini Factory. And it sounded like it was a 4-way collaboration. So Archvillain Games, Corvus Belli, My Mini Factory, and the Army Painter.
Correct.
All working together to make something happen. We have no idea what that is yet.
Correct.
Now, the oddball in that group to me is the Army Painter. I don't quite know how they fit into a digital collaboration. Now, Archvillain Games, they do a really, really great job on both the fantasy and the sci-fi front. Their miniatures are incredible. Also thinking about what CB is currently doing. So with Aristea coming back, I kind of feel like there's a possibility for some digital Aristea releases. So if the core box was physical, but then you were allowing people to 3D print expansion packs, I think that could be a thing. Although Archvillain is also really known for like the really big sort of centerpiece kind of miniatures. So I'm thinking there could also be a possibility for like busts for the the painting enthusiast and whatnot. I could also maybe see expansion scenarios for like Tag Raid or Warcrow Adventures, like if they were doing huge like centerpiece monsters, kind of like we had the PVC, oh god, what's the name of the dragon?
The Stein Dragon.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe if we had some other megafauna miniatures. But yeah, so
I'm just going to copy this clip and I'm going to send it to marketing and development. Thanks for all those ideas. Those are great.
So what I don't know is if you just are bluffing, because you had a really good stone face. That was really good.
Thanks. I've been practicing. I'm just staring at the Warcrow box behind you and not actually looking at you the entire time.
We'll move on so you don't get in trouble.
Well, it's actually this one giant centerpiece sculpture of Bernard from JTS Wargaming. Just that it's going to be. It's like the large Buddha statue from Cyberpunk, the one with like 6 arms and whatnot. But it's just your face.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'd totally be down for that. If
somebody's going to quote me as canon on that, and that's not what's happening.
If you wanted to make like a terrain piece that's just like me as a Buddha statue, I can get behind that.
Okay, I would do that for my own tables.
Yeah.
So let's have a conversation.
All right. Man. So speaking of Tag Raid, which I backed on Kickstarter and never had a chance to play.
Oh my goodness.
Which I regret infinitely. It's just one of those things where there's just so much to do and never enough time to do it. You actually ran what sounded like a super cool Tag Raid event at Adepticon. Yeah. Do you want to tell the people a little bit about that?
Sure. So I cannot claim credit for inventing this play mode. Tag death matches in various ways have been around for a while now. The basic concept is, if you remember Halo Rocket Tag from the early 2000s, it is that in Infinity with tags. Everyone brings a size 7 tag, and there are teleporting pads around the field that you can jump on and roll randomly to teleport somewhere, and you can pick up power-ups from off the table. They give you extra weapons or extra abilities. It is just a giant, silly arena deathmatch kind of game. Now, Tag Raid itself was a board game. It's got a story that goes through it, which is quite a lot of fun. The vast majority of Infinity fans wound up picking it up for the miniatures rather than the game. I will say that I have played through the game, and it's a ton of fun. I love the giant combined army. Oh, my brain is blanking right now. The giant, the villain mech that came with it looks like a Avatar on steroids.
Yeah. It's like a giant, like one of their drones.
I'm just blanking on the name of it right now, but that is kind of separate and aside from the play mode that we went with. Just naming things Tag Raid is alluding to tags being the centerpieces, tags being the primary vehicle through which you interface with the game mode or the story. But we had 5 tables going, each with about 8 players on them, and it is chaotic. You will spawn in and blow up. You can spawn in on top of someone on a teleport pad and blow them up just by landing. You can, there are different ability cards that we wrote that had, no one can use power-ups this turn, or suddenly everyone's ammunition gets an extra burst. Just the weirder, the better.
Yeah.
Chad Bustle from Indy, he goes by Ironclade in the forums, is the first one to ever expose me to this play mode. And he and I collaborated on the version of it that we played at Adepticon. It is phenomenal. It's a great load of fun, and I'll send you the document for it. It's got all the tag abilities and the stat cards and everything, so you can post it if you like, because we're more than happy to share.
No, that's awesome. I will definitely find a way to post that. Speaking of, sort of the vendor hall and the event hall, your booth, the CB booth, looked absolutely incredible. It was a combination of staffing with Warsenal staff as well as CB staff. I was chatting with Jay and Sarah on the last day of the con, And for some reason in my head, not really realizing how things truly work behind the scenes, I just imagine that you guys like flew product in from somewhere and it magically showed up in, where were we? Milwaukee. And maybe somebody had to arrange for it to like get from the airport to, the convention. And Jay and Sarah were like, no, we drove it up from Florida in a box truck over 2 days.
And that's the way the big events that we vend at here in the States, Gen Con, Adepticon, Jay and Sarah from Warsenal are what we do could not happen without them. We send product to them. There are major distributors here in the States as well, but we send additional product for events. So it's almost like a split inventory at the booth. And that's something you'll never see behind the scene or from behind the scenes, but the amount of love and care that they put into the booth, its design, the flow of getting through it. How do we get multiple people through? If you're standing at a booth, you need to have a demo table, and then you need to be able to have that person turn to their right or left and reach for the product that they just demoed and be able to show you. And then if you ask a different question, be able to stand next to you in the aisle so that you can see the thing they're trying to show you. So there is all of this consideration. It is a science in of its own right.
Right.
And Jay and Sarah do just absolute wonders with it. They're incredible.
And not only, it's not just one game. There was Infinity, there was Warcrow. They even had demos of the Rim Racers card game going on. So it was, a lot of hustle and bustle, but it looked phenomenal. And like I said, Tara was probably blocking the flow, just standing there reading through the Warcrow rulebook.
We're happy to have her. You need a reading corner, like the quiet kids corner, to go just sit in and read the rule books.
So she was incredibly exhausted. So we flew out on Tuesday and we had to leave at, I don't know, something crazy, like 3:00 in the morning, I think was when we woke up. And then every day we were consistently going to bed at like midnight. So by Thursday, she had just crashed.
You were tired too. Come on now.
I mean, I was tired, but at the same time, it's like, it's the greatest convention in America for, my number one hobby. So I was awake on pure adrenaline for most of that week.
I mean, that's most of the people working in the booths too. Just adrenaline and an occasional Monster energy drink or something. We're going on fumes by the end of it.
Oh, man. So also, speaking of partners, Warsenal was out in full effect, but you guys had also, during the seminar, kind of announced some of your other partnerships that you have with some other companies. So Baron of Dice was there with all of the Infinity faction dice that they make, which look absolutely incredible. I think I actually have some.
If they brought all of their dice, all of the different colors and shapes and everything that they do, we would have taken up the entire floor. They have so many options. And they also do custom. So if you're running events or if you're running large conventions, things like that, getting custom dice made is absolutely doable. They also unveiled their tape measures and the 40 mil challenge coins for the different factions. They're knocking it out of the park. It's really hard to not sing the praises of the team over there. They're incredible.
At no point in my life had I ever thought that I needed a customizable tape measure until they showed me what you can do with a customizable tape measure. And I'm like, wait, what? I can have one tape measure and just swap out the coins for like all of my games, all of my factions. It's a super cool product.
And it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole with it too.
Oh yeah. The only thing that's stopping me is I can't justify like $300 worth of challenge coins.
Fair. I can respect that. You just have to slowly start collecting them as you go.
Exactly. They make really good prizes for events. If anybody's running something local, throw in a tape measure and a challenge coin for first place. Not that expensive. Give people a way to build up that collection.
Absolutely. And they also do, just to sing their praises just a little more, they also have prize packs that you can get if you reach out to them as an organizer for an event. It's a die, a sticker, a little postcard, and all of that. And there's a couple hundred of them at a time, kind of thing, where you just all of these different random dice, random colors, random factions, but all themed towards infinity.
Cool.
Again, they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
They really, really are. And if you're looking for custom coins, that's something they can do too.
Awesome. So another partner, Mindworks. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people know them for the collectible statues embossed that they do, of which there's the Shinobu Kitsune statue that they were showing off at the convention, which looks absolutely phenomenal. I got to get a picture of one. But the last day of the con, I had told you that, I was going to make a quick stop before I had to drive down to Missouri for a work trip. And you were like, dude, have you checked out Paradise? And I'm like, I saw it, but I was being pulled in 8 million different directions. And you encouraged me to go back, and I ended up buying everything. So,
I'm sorry, but not really.
So
the guys over at Mindworks have made it is a tabletop skirmish game, and I mean like kitchen counter size tabletop skirmish game. Their own little post-apocalyptic setting. It's super simple. It's super fun. It plays in about 30 minutes. They've come up with such a really cool, rich world, and the art style is it's punk if punk was pastel.
Yeah.
It is just such a cool, unique image. I'm really glad you got a chance to go over there. And their Mindworks guys are just incredible to work with. They're based out of Italy, so it was a long flight for them. And they are just gems of human beings.
Yeah. Now, when I was at the booth, they were absolutely incredible. I spent, oh God, I cannot remember the gentleman's name. It wasn't the guy that you told me to talk to. He was actually working the
there was Matteo, Adriano, Alessandro.
I feel like it was Alessandro.
And Bill.
Oh, wait. Is it Bill or Will?
I think he'll answer to anything but late for dinner. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bill is phenomenal.
Bill. Okay. I've been calling him Will for the past 3 weeks, and I feel so bad.
His name is Williams, and if he hasn't corrected you, run with it.
Oh, okay. All right. I feel less bad now. Okay, there we go. No, but I got a quick demo of the game. It's super easy to learn and pick up. All of the miniatures look absolutely phenomenal. It's a 40 millimeter scale game, I believe. Mm-hmm. So the miniatures are a little bit bigger, which makes them easier to paint.
It also gives them the ability to make models that are at the caliber that those guys keep. And those guys are artists. You think about Italian sculptors and the Renaissance, and the work that they do is just breathtakingly stunning. It is a phenomenal game. Which faction is your favorite?
So I was immediately drawn to the Raiders. So if you're familiar with Raging Heroes.
Yeah.
So they're Jailbirds line of miniatures. The Raiders evoked that same kind of art style for me, which Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of. Second to them, though, very, very close second, the Church. So it's just crazy, just Baptist dudes with flamethrowers. It's an aesthetic that tugs at the heartstrings.
The White Lizard cult is one of the factions. And the story behind the White Lizard cult is there was this young girl who found herself in the ruins of an old museum of his natural history. And so she would curl up in the rib cage of this giant, Tyrannosaurus or some such, and that's where she would sleep. And so this group of wastelanders find her, and she'd been listening to the audio tracks, and you walk up to a display and the audio starts playing at the museum telling you about this Tyrannosaurus Rex that did X, Y, and Z. So she became their prophet.
Oh God.
For the giant white lizard. It is such a cool, weird concept. Their stuff is, again, the Mindworks guys are great. Their stuff is phenomenal. And their product that they're making for us, so we have the Shinobu Kitsune model out now, available for purchase. It was kind of get it first in person at Adepticon, and there are more coming. So
Nice.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Nice. One last quick word about Paradise. There's actually one of the Lizard Cult guys. So I was magnetizing all of the bases because I was super early for this interview. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus, but he straight up looks like a mutated Aquaman.
Yep.
So that's going to be fun to paint.
Absolutely. Have fun with it. There were some pastels in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, and also for people who are kind of curious, if you have a 3D printer, their 2-player starter set is actually completely free to download and print and play at home. You get all of the cards, all of the miniatures for 2 of the gangs, everything you need to play. The rulebook's free. So definitely check it out. And even if you're going to buy a physical product, it's actually super cheap. Like I picked up all 4 gangs, 2 accessory sets for $200, and that's the entire game right now. So
and Mindworks has set up. This is where William comes in. Mindworks has set up a USA base as well, so they're going to be producing and distributing from the US as well as Europe. So
kind of getting to the wrap up of Adepticon. For brand new game that was first being unveiled at Adepticon, what was your favorite?
Oh man. Well, we didn't unveil anything brand spanking new, so I have to diverge away from our own products, and I feel a little like I'm betraying somebody by doing so. But the 2 games that really roped me in the most, there was Paradise with the Mindworks guys. Obviously, I mean, I sent you over there on the last day. And then was it Oasis? Yeah, Oasis. So it is a 6mm scale ship/mech combat game where you are in a whole nother galaxy salvaging tech and materials from this long deceased civilization. Both sides have access to the same everything, all the same materials, all the same mechs, all the same vehicles. And it is just a really, really cool aesthetic, a cool idea. There you go. Yep. Their stuff was phenomenal. I did not get a chance to get a demo, unfortunately, but I did buy their recognition guide, and I'm keeping an eye on their release date.
Have you had a chance to read through the rec guide yet? Oh my God, yeah. It is hilarious.
It is written as if you are the prospector waking up from cryo. It is phenomenal. There's little notes written in there by people who've come before you. It's great.
So for me as well, and it seems like for a lot of people, Oasis was definitely one of the fan favorites. I am mine are right here. So I got a chance to talk with Byron at the booth and get a demo from Dale, who's the lead designer on the game. The game played, even in beta right now, the game played extremely well. It was very simple to pick up. Miniatures are incredible. And at the booth, I have to dig out the picture. I'll overlay it over our faces. They used a magnet system to make a hovering ship like on their display board. It was incredible.
Immediately drew the eye.
Yeah, it did. So let's wrap up the Adepticon section. We'll move into Death Song. So now we're finally going to talk about your specific work, Death Song.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing book. Now, you guys had actually sent me a PDF copy early to read through, and I got maybe a quarter of the way through it. And even though I had the free copy in my hands, I'm such a bibliophile that I was just like, you know what? I like Corvus Belli. Gabe seems like a cool guy. I'd rather just have a physical book in my hand. And went ahead, shelled out the money, and I do not regret that decision at all. The book was phenomenal.
Thank you, Brian.
So, as I understand it, this was your first novel, and you're actually not a novelist by trade. You were in IT professionally, correct?
Oh man, I've been all over the place. I was in the military. I've trained service dogs. I've worked in the music industry. I've been a carpenter. I've worked in tech. I've been all over the place. So I have been a storyteller, however, my entire life. My mother will tell you. But I started writing in the 90s, I guess, late 90s.
Okay.
Just starting to write backgrounds for D&D characters like many of us have. And that evolved into writing short stories. I was able to get a couple of those published over the years. Never a full-length book. That is a marathon you have to train for, my friend. But a couple of years ago now, time is a construct. Not too long ago, we were still in Chicago at Adepticon. I was sitting next to another nerd at a panel who wound up being the editor of Winged Hussar, Brandon. And we hit it off great and talked about the books. And eventually he said, put your money where your mouth is. And so wound up with a manuscript not too much longer after that. And then here we are. I'm a novelist, sort of, kind of, I guess.
No, definitely. You've done it.
I did the thing. Look at me, Mom.
You did the thing. So, I mean, with this being your first full-length book, it's set a universe that you love. And not only that, it's highlighting very prominent characters that are beloved by the community. What was that experience like, trying to juggle all of these different variables to get to the end goal?
I don't know how to describe it, to be honest. There's a knee jerk to say it was super easy and, it just flowed. But I know there were days where I just sat here and stared at the computer screen and nothing happened. My hands poised above the keys and nothing happens for hours. But they're getting to explore a world that I love made the whole process joyous for me. Interacting back and forth with Corvus Belli was a bit difficult through parts of it because it's a small team at CB. And one of the many hats that I wear is fixing that problem. Communication with our authors and our partners. Getting to explore the world of Shentang, where most of the story takes place, was really, really cool. Because the last time we saw the world of Shentang was during the uprising. And so we had no idea what happened since. And this novel takes place roughly 7 years. I'm going to second guess myself there. This novel takes place after the uprising. And now we're even after End Song and the story that happens on Concilium. So what's happened since then? It was a war-torn hellscape when we left it. Is it still? Is this like occupied France? What are we looking at here? And so developing that story, building it up into something that made sense was phenomenal. Yeah. It was really, really cool to get. That was my first taste of being behind the curtain, talking to Gautier about Oyama and who is his family? How high in the hierarchy are they? Do they have the emperor's ear or not? How high is he regarded? And the big piece that traveled through that story a lot with me was, how does he feel about his fame and his legend that is growing?
Spoiler alert,
it's complicated.
And he's super emo about it.
Hoopoe calls him my favorite little sad boy. So he gets over it eventually, kind of.
He completes the mission.
He completes the mission internally and externally. Getting to explore clandestine action in this sci-fi universe gave room for a lot of if-then moments. Like, okay, so if this happened, how would they handle that? If I have Aragoto bikers, what is their purpose if part of this mission takes place in tunnels? How do I handle? They're in the woods, in the forest. You know, are they going to take the motorcyclists with them, or are they going to do something else? So getting to really explore that, and I did lean a little bit into my own military background with an understanding of tactics and using them in different areas. And I'm by no means some like high rank special forces, yada yada yada. I was just a grunt, just a dude, but I lived it. And so I can sit here and say, okay, he's walking through the forest with his rifle up, and I can know what that feels like. And to be able to turn that into expression and then into art was just a really, really cool experience.
Yeah, for me, reading the book and then in hindsight learning that you were a vet, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense why all of the combat depicted in the book was actually like really, really engaging to read. There's hints of realism in all of the writing that was really incredible. Another thing that really caught my eye as I was reading through the novel was you do an excellent job of translating game concepts into long form sections of novel.
Thanks, man.
So, for instance, the thing that stood out the most to me was impetuous. So the impetuous orders in the game, people are just like, oh, this guy is so blood crazy. He just wants to get into combat as quickly as possible. But in the novel, you're able to differentiate an impetuous Bushi versus an impetuous Bosuzoku, Ganger. Like, what does that look like? And phenomenal job executing it. It was incredible.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. So one really cool thing is the novel universe of Infinity is expanding. So first up, we've got the audiobook of Death Song, which, like, how crazy is it that like your first book is also the first audiobook for the company?
Nothing will humble you more as an author than listening to someone else read your work. Oh my God. The number of times he nodded is like seared into my skull. Or if I mention a character's name too many times in a paragraph, it works well written, but then you hear it out loud and you're like, oh my God. It has been a weird experience. I'm very, very grateful that Devin, one of the hosts of Metachemistry, agreed to take on the project. And I'm actually a little behind on what I owe him right now because he has completed his recordings, and now I am just going back through and proofing it. And we kind of proofed it as we went, and then Adepticon prep, all of that. I got a little behind on that, so sorry, Devin. But we're almost done. I think I've only got 4 or 5 chapters left to go on the proofing. Then there's a couple of small edits to make, and then we're off to the races. That'll be available everywhere you can get audiobooks, to include Winged Hussar's website, I believe. So
awesome.
It is the first one, the first Infinity audiobook, hopefully of many. It's one of those moments where we've never done it before, so we don't know what to expect. And we're hoping it does well so that we can continue to do them.
I'm expecting a huge success. I don't think I'm alone in that. If I'm painting and I'm by myself in the house, my number one thing to do is throw on an audiobook. And previously, it's always been either a Battletech audiobook or a Warhammer audiobook, because that was like all that was available. But if you guys are putting out Infinity or Warcrow even themed audiobooks, they will definitely be added into the rotation.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man.
Also, we've kind of alluded to Winged Hussar a little bit.
Yeah. Winged Hussar was started by Vince and Brandon Rossmond. Vince's publishing pedigree is insane. He was with Black Library back when they were just starting the Heresy series. Like he has been through it. He has been in publishing his entire career. Brandon, by dint thereof, grew up around Dan Abnett and Graham McNeil and these guys. So, they have been around the people who pioneered the industry of game fiction. And so they come from that background of knowledge and then made their own company. And they work with Kings of War. They've got a huge novel range for Kings of War. They work with a couple other smaller companies, and they work with us. So they are the publishing house that handles our novels.
Gotcha. Well, I personally cannot wait. So when was that? January, when I interviewed Jay at Warsenal, I ended up picking up another Infinity book. They had a little shelf with everything that was out thus far. And that was a phenomenal book too, talking about Pano and Yu Jing having a little border skirmish.
Yeah, Downfall.
Yeah. So, but for new books, you're working on something right now. Can we get a little tease?
It's behind me, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I am working on a novel covering the beginning days of the next wave. And I'm not sure if I bit off more than I can chew or not yet. We'll find out. But it's been a great experience. And as I am now kind of on the other side of the curtain with CB as well, I don't have to wait through communication trains to get information back. I can just go, okay, hop on Drive, go to that document, pull down what I need, and I can hop on Teams and message Gutier directly. The mind that has steered the ship for years and years and years now. It has been a really, really cool experience, and I'm very excited to see where it goes.
I personally cannot wait. So the next wave, I've enjoyed painting everything, and the little bit of lore that we've got in the Infinity lore book about how the defection happened has been like really, really cool. I cannot wait to see how that materializes in novel form.
Yeah, when I first read that in the N5 lore book, I was like, there's got to be more here. There's got to be more here. And that was the same feeling I had when I read Uprising and was looking at the JSA. So it's really cool to have that same feeling like, oh no, there's more here. What happened? How does Achilles really feel about this?
Yeah, more interesting than
what is Pandora doing?
That's what I want to know.
So what does Patroclus think when he wakes up? This is rife for story. So I am very, very excited, and I'm frankly really, really privileged to be able to explore that. And I know that, and I'm very, very grateful.
So it's in early development right now. So no idea of a release date or anything, but keep your eyes peeled. I'm sure there will be communication once it's ready. If I can throw up the soon meme. Yeah, I'll put that somewhere on the screen.
Yeah. And that is not going to be the next book out. Right. There are 5 books in confident stages of development right now. I say confident stages because 2 manuscripts are already turned in.
Oh.
And then the other 3 are all established authors who have written before. There's 6 books in development right now. So there's a lot coming. The goal is to accelerate that pace and get more regular lore content out there.
Awesome. So correct me if I'm wrong. It felt like a lot of the focus was on Infinity right now on the novel front. Will we see Warcrow novels?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't even have to debate about that. That is the plan long term.
Got it.
There are actually don't know what stage that one's in, which means I need to send an email later and follow up. But there are discussions happening. There are works being considered. So just a matter of time.
Soon.
TM. Or the husky up against the screen. Thoon. That's my favorite one.
I like the one with the it's either a crow or a raven holding a knife in its beak. I guess we'll start the wrap up. I feel like we've had to have gone over an hour. I don't want to
quite all right, man.
Minimize the screen. Real quick for everybody, new releases that are coming out of Corvus Belli. If you haven't heard, Caledonia is back for a very limited time. If you're a fan of Scottish werewolves, now might be the last time that you can get them.
Much like our Contasamento release here recently, or Toha a few years ago, this is a get it now because it's going away, and the armies will stay playable, but they're also something that fans coming into the game now never had the experience to acquire, never had the opportunity to acquire, and so getting them that opportunity, bringing that kind of evening the playing field in some ways is really, really cool. And to quote Bostria, this will be the last time you can get them until they get their day in the sun.
And also for newer people who are looking at the miniatures and kind of like the aesthetic, you're kind of buying like a whole army at once for sub $200, which is...
There's only a small handful of models that are available to that faction that are not included in those boxes. And a little trick, if you're interested, the werewolves, the dog warriors that are available for Caledonia, there's 2 of them in the bundle, 1 in each of the main boxes. One of them is the old McMurrow miniature, but you can run that as a Cameronian and go buy the new McMurrow miniature, and now you've got 3 giant werewolves running across the field, all completely game legal. So
there you go.
It's a nice little way to get around it.
There you go. And for the Warcrow side, we've been hyping up the Mount Haven stuff for a while now. That's still out there for people to grab. I actually have to do more painting videos. So I did one and I got a basing video done. And then I decided I didn't want to do non-metallic gold on like 17 doors.
That's fair. That's fair. Though I've got a shortcut for that. I'll share with you when we're done here.
Okay. All right.
If it's something you decide you want to do.
I'm always willing to hear about new techniques. So where can people find you if they want to follow your work?
In a hole, crying and dying a little on the inside. No, I am on Instagram. It's really the only social I have. It's the.gabriel.miller. Though I am really, really tempted to change it to the Crowfather.
You should.
Oh man, it's one of those is that too pretentious?
If you can find like a crow wearing like an Italian suit jacket, possibly smoking a cigar, and change your name to the Crowfather.
It's so tempting. You're a bad influence. Yeah, so that is my main social. I also have a link tree. It's Gabriel Writes, WRITES, and that is mostly still primed for Death Song stuff, but it also includes links to where to find me and all of that jazz. The blog content that you see coming out at Corvus Belli is mostly written by myself and Coney, and there is another neat project coming soon, TM, that is headlined by me as well here at Corvus Belli. So I'm around. I'm floating around.
Awesome. And
if you see somebody on Discord named Anywhere But Iraq, that is me. Feel free to say hi.
And then, so obviously you're at Adepticon. Any other conventions for the rest of the year?
I will definitely be at Gen Con. I will be at the Krug wearing my CB shirt. Beyond that, I'm not entirely certain. Flights internationally are a little rough right now, so I don't know if I'll be going to UKGE or Spiel or Interplanetario. But I will definitely be at Gen Con, and I will definitely be at the Krug.
Awesome. Well, Gabe, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to have this chat with me. Really appreciate it.
Happy to, man.
And we'll have to plan another one in the future once we've got the second book out to dish over.
Happy to, man.
Alrighty. Well, that's it for today, guys. Make sure you do all the algo things like share, subscribe, all that stuff that I always forget to tell you guys to do. And
what's the popular one right now? Smash that like button.
Smash it. And I'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Later, everybody.